Hello, everyone.
Good evening. Nice to see everyone. Evening Storm Legacy. Evening Edward Healy. Quiet in the chat.
Yeah, after a day of FPL, you thought people would be straight on it.
Yeah.
They're probably,
Clearly it's taken people a while to get into it.
yeah. I'm sure they'll be queuing up shortly. I'm just trying to bring the chat up on my phone so I can at least have some of it.
Cool.
There we go. I need to turn the sound off as well.
Oh, they're flooding in now. Evening David, Strom, Andy G, Michael, Billy, Dick Wellington. Good evening to all of you guys. Nice to see you all here.
So many dedicated names. I see the same names all the time. It's great. Mark Dawley,
Good.
Rory, long live CM. FPL is
Yeah.
over. I share your sentiment. What a crap season for me. And you, Dave, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one for me. Where did you come, Luke?
I don't even want to look. I was about 223k before today, and I think I got like 70 points or something rough there. So I don't even know if that's any good. Like genuinely, I know people are like 70 points. Is that any good? I don't know if that's any good.
I think it's okay. That's about what I got, and I got a rank rise from about 195 to about 185. So you're not going to be going very far, I don't think, I'm afraid.
Sad times, but no, I mean, I largely gave up, to be honest. Just shocking season, shocking decisions, hits all over the place. Much like I'm playing Champ Man, it's just they seem to be working in Champ Man.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't work this week, to be fair.
In general,
in general, they've been alright, but the last 2 weeks, if I hadn't done hits and had stayed the same, I'd probably be around 30 to 40 points up now. So I'd obviously be doing even better, but I can't help myself. I see those games, I do those sims, and I think this guy's going to fire in this game. But it doesn't always happen, sadly.
I feel like it's your USP though. Like even before I knew you or anything, I always feel like when you're on Scoutcast, it's always like you were the Maverick one. That's your role.
I think I just ended up with that tag by default because all of the rest are so boring that, like, I dared to consider a different captain. But yeah, I mean, there's far more Maverick people out there, believe me. I'm not that Maverick. I mean, my team in FPL, if you were to look at it today, is just utterly template. It's ridiculous. But there we go.
Anyway, this is all about CM. We'll look forward to next season's FPL, but that's a few weeks away, right?
Yeah, indeed. Crazy week though this week. I think I flagged it up last stream that because so many teams were playing at home that are obviously good and are playing weaker sides, there was always a good chance of rotation this week. And I think in the end, quite a number of the teams did rotate. Obviously not full teams, which is a good thing. But the odd name missed out here or there, which, I mean, I had Hart, for example, which missed out. But a lot of people had the Hart and Sylvestre double up, which I think really killed their defence this week.
Yeah, that was painful.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of that. I mean, for me as well, red cards for Melchett and Hippie have just thrown all these plans out, and it feels kind of random now because as we look at these fixtures, I know we're going to come to this in a bit, but and I've done some sims, so I got some data at the end for some odds on these games, but a lot of them are really, really hard to call. I don't feel like there's any kind of bank. I mean, this week we kind of had bankers, right? In Man United home to Newcastle, Leeds at home to Derby, you pretty much know what's happening there. You can set your clock to it or whatever, but here there are so many games I feel that just could go either way, so it's going to be really tricky, and it's going to decide the men from the boys, I think, in terms of winning chances for the last 3 weeks. But anyway, let's jump into the games then. Aston Villa and Everton, say there wasn't much in terms of goal mouth action here.
Dull now, isn't it?
Yeah, and Villa obviously shaded the possession. That's generally going to happen when you're at home. The only real things I noticed here, I mean, Balaban's quietly had a pretty good season, to be fair. I mean, it's not when you're comparing it to the likes of Viduka and Shearer and all these lot, it doesn't look great, but it's not been that bad, especially since Keegan took over. Is it Keegan or Dylan?
Dalglish.
Yeah. It's not been that bad. He's chipped in here or there. But the thing I really took my eye here was just Alpay and Melberg were just utterly dominant at the back. I mean, look at that for Alpay. Alpay was actually up against Duncan Ferguson. And he nearly won half of his headers. I mean, that's a pretty good feat, isn't it?
He won better than half. That's good going.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 18 for jumping, and Ferguson's got 20, so you can see why he kind of matched it. But it's, when you think of it in real life, you think like there's no chance that would have happened.
Yeah, nice.
And Steve Stone chipped him with an assist. I still not quite like him at his price. I think he's quietly doing okay, considering most of the sort of 5.5 million and below midfielders aren't that good. He seems to be chipping in. He can get penalties occasionally, so I mean, that's not bad considering. Of late, of course, he's been doing all right, and I feel like he'll continue to do well. The wingers always do. The problem with Hendry, Ginola, Stone, and obviously Hadji would normally be there if he was fit. They're just not quite nailed, and that's the problem, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things, isn't it? Like you're not going to be probably with 5 weeks to go. You're not going to be changing your 4.55 million mids at this stage, I guess.
Mm.
Unless
Yeah,
you
you want to
injury.
make those money moves with the high ceilings, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And there's not many of those in midfield, unfortunately. This was another one of these rep games. Obviously, Blackburn being at home to Southampton was very lucrative on the sim. Well, I mean, home to Southampton should just signal that to virtually any team. And as you can see here, Blackburn utterly dominated the game. You don't usually see in the 60s. So that's a really good effort. Probably could have done a little bit better and even conceded maybe a goal, 4 shots on target. It's usually good for at least 1 goal, I would say. But Sander Westerveld, I think he's been incredible since that's pretty good for a keeper. I think the highest average rating is like 7.1 or 2 or something.
Yeah.
I know it's only 4 games, so it's easier, but he's done very, very well. You can see his stats.
He's got good attributes, hasn't he? I feel like Blackburn, they've sort of just the whole season, or at least the second half of the season, they've just really quietly become a really, really good team.
Yeah.
They've almost had the second half of the season that Middlesbrough had first half, almost not quite at that level, but still very, very good.
Almost done a swapsy. I mean, interestingly, when you put Ronald de Boer in Sims into the team from the very beginning, even though he's not great, he changes the way they play, and as a result, Blackburn regularly finish in the top 6 because they rarely play that 4-5-1. So it's literally soon as killing their potential because all their players are actually pretty good. And when they play this formation here with Dunn here, and obviously Two-Guy missed out. When Two-Guy plays this role here, he usually absolutely smashes it as well, which is strange to me because usually the CM position is not that good. You'd obviously want the people who may be going up front or in the AMC, but generally I noticed the person there does very, very well, and obviously Dunn played there and got 10 assists and a goal. So
yeah, nice.
It's one to look out for, I guess. If you think they're going to be playing this formation and you see Two-Guy or indeed Dunn sat there, he's probably onto a good game, I would say.
Yeah, because David Strom in the chat saying he had Two-Guy and who missed out.
So
Weatherall obviously missed out as well. This is just Rep 12. It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing to worry about.
That's
right?
it. It's home to Southampton. The AI's got to keep its players happy. It doesn't think anything else apart from that, really. And it's just dropped 2 of their better players who have got. Usually they've got reasonable competition. So Two-Guy's their best player, so he's very likely to drop out. Especially when a player like David Dunn is not that far away from him. You can see his stats are actually getting a little bit better. He actually can get pretty good in the game. So he's got reasonable competition. So there's always a chance that he's going to drop out. And obviously with Weatherall, they're only playing 2 centre-backs this week. And obviously Berg and Curtis are good centre-backs as well. So just unfortunate.
Yeah. Andy G picked up Westerveld this week. Good signing. Well done, mate.
That is a good effort. This game is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. So one of my hits was Carbonian this week. I had high hopes. And then this is the result of the game. 2-1 to Bolton. Somehow only 3 shots on target. So Cudicini with I think it was 5 he played in the end, wasn't it? Yeah, it's about right. 10 shots on target, 17 in total.
Bolton have had a crazy run. Is that about their 4th win on the bounce or something? 3rd or 4th win on the bounce. They've just.
It might be because they beat Borough and United, didn't they?
They beat Borough United, then Chelsea. I mean,
let's have a look. Drew to Villa, but still 3 wins against some tough opposition there in a row. Yeah, madness.
Yeah, look out Newcastle away next.
Colin Cooper, just a great signing for the double, then just gets bonus even when they concede. It could have easily ended up with minus points in this game, as you saw, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, amazing.
So Chelsea have been great. They're so under the radar because no one trusts them, and there's people saying about rotation and stuff. I feel like since the new manager's come in, the rotation's gone down to a minimum, really. I think outside of injury, it's only really the forwards that occasionally rotate, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say the forwards. I feel like there's another name that pops up in central midfield sometime, but I can't think who it is because obviously Di Mattea's in there today. But...
It's Petit's injured though. Yeah,
Petit, that's who it is.
Yeah. So I think they're also being helped by the fact that Gronkiar and Stanic are both injured at the moment, aren't they? So the wingers aren't really getting subbed, which helps. That's sure to change though, I imagine.
Yeah.
Let's go on. I don't know if you want to talk us through this one, Dave.
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, give me a dull one. Yeah, Fulham 2, West Ham 0, relegation battle. Almost no shots there, you can see. West Ham on top, I guess overall, but Fulham needed the points. New manager. What do you think about new manager? Is it a new formation or it's standard 4-4-2? I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean the only real difference is he goes for the short passing rather than the direct. But other than that, I think Tigana plays attacking direct, and I can't remember if he plays pressing or not. But either way, it's very, very close, as you can see. And it's this. I think we said last week that when a new manager comes in, you might see the odd random player thrown out there, and obviously the goalkeeper changed, for example.
Yeah.
Lee Clark's not played all that often, and then Hales comes in up front. So
yeah, Bo Morte out on the wing there. Obviously, that's news.
Yeah, it's hard to say whether that's the new manager thing for the first 3 weeks while I was working out, or it could easily be rep because they're home to West Ham, is a terrible side. So it could be a bit of
True.
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Hales will be staying up front, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, Fulham have obviously got a double coming up in a few weeks. They're sort of interest, I guess, for that. But just having a look here, they've got a blank in 35 versus Arsenal away next. So I think it's a wait and see until 36 and then decide.
Yeah, and I think probably the new defenders have... I mean, Goma's still done okay, but I think it's hurt him a little bit. Like, he's now not the dominant defender all the time. And the likes of Coleman, I think, has been pretty good.
Foster there, he's man of the match, 4 million, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if he can nail down a place, that's a great target to Foster for the double game week, maybe. Chelsea at home, Leicester away. You're not expecting clean sheets necessarily, but you never know.
No, maybe he's going to get bonus. Yeah, why not take the risk for a -4? It's a good point, yeah. Have to see if he keeps playing. I haven't actually noticed whether he's been playing every game, to be fair, but he might have.
Yeah.
The other thing really of note I noticed from West Ham was just Joe Cole's at it again with his shots on target.
Yeah,
he
his
seems
quality.
Absolutely loads of them.
He's having a great season, isn't he? He's the only one that's worth thinking about from West Ham.
He's the top scorer in midfielder in terms of goals, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
goal scoring.
West Ham, just say next 4, they've got Sunderland at home, Liverpool away, Spurs at home, Bolton away. There could be goals for him there. Could be a nice little differential pick.
Yeah. Indeed, I had him and I sold him this week to fund my move for Huncho because I was so obsessed by the fact they were going to keep a clean sheet. Luckily they did, and Cole didn't do anything. However, I should have just left it, like I said, because I took a hit for Carboni, who also did nothing, but there we go.
Andy Martin popping into the chat. Evening, Andy.
Nice for him to join us. Has he got his mates there with the pizza? Or is that another
I presume that the pizza party is done now, but maybe they're all there commenting.
That'd be awesome. Ipswich and Middlesbrough. This is almost like a dull-off to see who can win 1-0, like better. And obviously Ipswich managed it. Possession-wise, fairly equal. Shots and everything's pretty equal here.
Yeah.
Largely a very, very equal match. The only real surprising thing is that the defenders for average rating away from home, which isn't common, did really, really well. But when I looked at the stats earlier, I mean, you can see Southgate basically morphed into Ekiog plus Southgate and just won everything.
I was just thinking they're up against Finidi and Marcus Stewart. I mean, those are two forwards who you can dominate in the air, especially.
Indeed, yeah, definitely. Finidi with his 8 jumping, it's not really going to work.
Yeah, he's a pace man, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed. So it just worked into Middlesbrough's favour there, I guess. And then Ipswich did what they normally do. They find a goal from defence or something rather than their forwards generally. And ended up winning. Tariko's been on an absolute tear recently, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's your boy. Is he in your team?
No, I mean, I had him for nearly the whole first half of the season, didn't I? And he got injured quite a lot. And
true.
He didn't really get that many. I mean, he got a few attacking returns at the beginning of the season, and then he sort of tailed off. And now they've started picking up again.
9 attacking returns in 27. That's 1 in 3. That's good going.
Yeah, and he's 4.5 million. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was basically just overshadowed by Hariderson, who was just being utterly ridiculous. But I think Hariderson's been on these 7 man of the matches since about halfway now.
He's slowed down, isn't he? But his average rating's still monstrous. Yeah,
still great.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still easily just have them both.
What's Bramble's average rating?
I think it's not far away. Yeah, 7.43.
Not bad.
And even Gunnarsson, since he's come out, he's only 7. But it seemed to be doing better than that to me. But obviously
he's played in mid a bit as well, hasn't he? But
that's true. Yeah, I do actually like Matty Holland coming up though. For Ipswich's games aren't great, but Southampton is just straight away. I think like Holland could score in that game pretty easy.
They're good. They're good games for attack, I would say.
Yeah, and when I show you the odds at the end, Ipswich are going to surprise us. I really like Matty Holland for this game. I'll show you guys in a sec, but didn't expect it. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Leeds and Derby. This was another utter domination.
As expected, right?
As expected. Obviously, very accurate shooting for them. Probably could have got even more. I mean Chelsea didn't, although they scored 1, didn't they, with similar stats, so it's just really unlucky. Possession wise, everything. Obviously this was another rep game, and I think nearly every time, or close to it, I can at least think of 3 or 4 times now where Kuhl and Hart on the left side have missed out when it's been an easy game, and it happened again.
Yeah. Kuhl we say it every stream, but he's just such a letdown. I feel like for his second season, what do you think, 7 million? I mean, he's just not justifying his high price, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I think there's got to be a price drop for midfielders across the board, but for him, the problem is when he has actually played, like the last 2 or 3 weeks when he's been playing, he's got man of the match maybe 2 out of the 3 times, got goals and assists. It's just, if you can't rely on him playing, I suppose you really want him in these games, don't you? The home to the weak sides, and when that happens, he seems to be the first name on the list to get drops. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's not a good pick. Ronald9 says he got Hart in for a hit. I know he wasn't the only one as well. And FPL James pointing out that Lee's got a penalty, and it's true. It's not the first time Lee's got a penalty when Hart's been off the pitch. It's pretty unlucky.
I think out of those goals, probably at least 2 of them are penalties for Backer there, maybe even 3. And Mabry's got a few as well, hasn't he? I believe he scored a couple of penalties.
Oh, has he?
I seem to remember the right. Was it Kelly or Mabry that scored a penalty?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Someone in the chat will tell us. I'm pretty sure Mabry or Kelly took a penalty. I think Radamy might have even had one as well. Could have had that right.
Yeah. Ronald's asking, does Ferdinand start when he's fit?
Yeah, he'll come straight back in.
Yeah. And just to go back to Ipswich as well, Adam Sands is pointing out that Tarico has actually now got more points than Herman Hreiderson, which I hadn't realised.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Although I prefer it if you got them for me, but there we go. Derby were dreadful. I looked through this to see anything of note, but they couldn't pass. Obviously 5-6s, didn't win anything. It was there. Well, they didn't have the ball basically. Couldn't do anything.
Rubbish.
Another game that could have ended up being more. Again in the Sims, this was as nailed on as a clean sheet as I'd found. I actually did. I do 20 of them, and 10 of them in a row produced a clean sheet for Liverpool straight off the bat. The first
Amazing.
10, I almost gave up after that point and thought I'm not going to bother anymore. That's why I just thought I'm getting Henshaw in like straight away. To be honest, I would have gone Hippier, or I already had Hippier, but I would have gone him for the chance of the pens, and he gets the pen and then he goes and misses it.
Yeah, so Henshaw was the better shout in the end.
Yeah, it was obviously Hippie had the ban coming up. That's the only reason I didn't go for him. But
yeah, I mean after this week, so they got Leicester away next, but then I've only got the next 4 on because I'm using the website. But West Ham at home, Derby away, Blackburn at home. Those look like more good defensive fixtures coming for them.
Yeah, I think just in general, Liverpool just go on a great run. I see the last game against Leeds is obviously not good, but all of these
3 hit 38, right?
Yeah, if you still got it. But Owen was a guy talked up ahead of this game and duly delivered. I don't see why he can't match the likes of Viduka, Phillips, Van Nistelrooy's obviously got a blank for those games. I mean, they're just great, right? Yeah. Give a great striker a great game and you usually get something out of it, unless it's a 5-0 win and your name's Van Nistelrooy.
I did enjoy that when I opened up, I'm not going to lie.
I know you absolutely hate Van Nistelrooy doing well.
Yeah, I do. Although I sort of feel like now Viduka's the guy who's
he's your
smashing it week in, week out. I sort of love him as well. He's the captain of my zombie, so I'm not going to complain when he scores.
There you go. And this really annoyed me. Jensen come off on 31 minutes. I don't have him, but it annoyed me because last week when he scored 9 points, the reason I took a hit was so I didn't have to play him, so this didn't happen. And then, of course, in that game, he stays on and gets a 9-pointer.
It is happening to him most weeks, it seems like, or every other week.
Indeed. As soon as the game's not going well, and often if you're Charlton, it won't be going well as far as the AI is concerned, it then hooks Jensen. It's got all these players who can play in midfield. And it obviously just shifts him. It seems to pick him as the one that's going to get hooked.
Shame because he's good. Renara's just saying on Liverpool they're struggling away from home to be consistent. Is that a worry for you?
I mean, who's consistent away from home? Tell me a team that is.
That's true. Yeah.
You see, a lot of their games, if you look through here, there's nearly always a 0 on one side, right?
So boring, aren't they?
So look, 4-2 here, but aside from that, every game on your screen has a 0 one way or the other, and that's why I like them, because even if it is away, home, wherever, there's always a chance of them getting a clean sheet. Man United, Arsenal and Liverpool, you just leave them in, I think.
We're looking at that. It's pretty much home game is a very likely clean sheet for them. There's 1 away clean sheet and 1 home non-clean sheet.
Yeah, it's just a consistent thing with them. I think it's more just to do with the fact that Honcho and Hippier, they're cheaper than the very top ones at 6.5, but they also come with bonus nearly every game they play, whereas You know, some of those 6.5s don't. I know Ashley Cole picked it up recently doing it, but he didn't for a large parts of the season. Sylvester doesn't turn up for half the game, so
yeah.
And the same for Hart. I mean, if he doesn't get an attack with Hart as well, if he doesn't get an attacking return, I mean, he can get bonus in home games because he's great, but away from home, you know, Leeds' defence is just shocking. You are pretty much relying on an attacking return.
Yeah. Andy G's asking. He's got Huppier. He's got to sell him. He's asking who would be a good replacement. I mean, I'm just looking at the fixtures here. The sort of options to me as I look at them. Middlesbrough they've got a Man United away in 35, but other than that, they've got some decent fixtures. Aston Villa at home, Southampton away, Everton at home. So Festa is obviously, I think he's the same price or cheaper. So consider Festa. Say again.
He's 5, so he saves $1 million.
Yeah. So that's a good deal. Or just go sideways to Ancho potentially. You could even look at a Newcastle defender if you're feeling risky, but I probably would avoid them.
Yeah, love that. This was another battering. One shot off target by Newcastle. Dominated the play. And yeah, I mean, in terms of your attacking assets, it's largely a lottery as to whether you got returns, I guess. Any single one of them could have absolutely fired, and obviously quite a few of them did. You can't really blame yourself. You know, if you went Beckham and he's got you a 7 and nothing over the double. For me, and I still stand by it, he was the best pick over this two and the next one, just simply because, well, first of all, we didn't know Veron was going to play, and he potentially has got all set pieces and stuff. It's just madness how he's just not got anything. It's just one of those fantasy things, I guess, for me.
Yeah, Emerson's looking absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, Keane was dropped for this game.
Yeah.
Do you think Emerson's place is safe, or do you think it's still, you might get rotated a bit?
Nah, I mean, the fact that Sylvester dropped as well tells you that it was a rep game. If they'd have had more of their players fit in terms of York, then there's a chance. I want to say it's a rep game. Veron played even though he was orange flag, so not a full game, but obviously Sylvester's in their best team, right? So why didn't he play? Keane is definitely in their best team. The problem is Keane's now banned for like 3 games, isn't he? Is it already? I think it might already be. So.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
Let's go to Keane quickly.
If he is, then in that case, Emerson looks like a brilliant signing. Andy Martin saying he likes his fixture for a clean sheet, especially. Or maybe like blank next.
Yeah, so then he starts his ban on the 24th.
So he'll miss Middlesbrough at home and then Chelsea away, which could be the start of a double or not.
Yeah, so I'd say Emerson's assured for that, and then after that point, when Keane and Veron are available, they'll probably come back in. However, by that time, they might have gone far in the Champions League, and therefore will be doing rep games every game, and Emerson then will then probably play because he's not first choice.
Yeah, interesting.
So at 6 million, I think if you've got him, you're just holding him all day until it becomes a problem, which it may never become a problem.
Yeah. David Strong saying, could move Van Nistelrooy to Owen, free up cash for Veron? I feel like it's a good move for 2 weeks, but you're almost certainly going to want Van Nistelrooy back for the double game week because
he can just turn it so badly.
Yeah, exactly. So you could, to be fair, if it ends up being not a double game week in 36, then you could get him out for the blank. Middlesbrough at home is obviously a good one for him is not one you'd want to miss. But then Chelsea away, I feel like it would be a totally valid move to pick a different striker for the next 3 weeks, and then jump back on him on 37 if the fixtures change. I think you just got to be flexible to be ready to bring him back in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering just rolling without Van Nistelrooy from now to the end of the season because
I think it's a valid move.
Yeah, so much hinges on the fact that if Man United progress in the Champions League and a lot of these other guys are matching them or could do well with the fixtures, then it's a reasonable chance that you can do well. Especially like saying the double, if that's in between 2 Champions League games where they've already won the league, which could be a possibility, could easily not feature.
Because I think, like, if you just click on Van Nistelrooy quickly, Luke, basically he started the season amazingly, and then he's actually not, 22 goals and 28, obviously very good, but he started the season amazingly, but he has slowed down a bit, I feel like. He's not been exploding as much. I think, like, Viduka's been playing better than he has, so you've got a captain.
How many Van Nistelrooy got?
I don't know, has he
even got one?
I was going to say it's one at most, I think.
I mean, I'm not going to say that he's not a great option, because he's got that like bonus as default, even away from home most of the time. But yeah, I don't think it's been all that. Again, the chat might be able to tell us. Maybe he's not even got a single hat-trick yet. He's certainly got a couple of braces, but like, you're right, most of the time you're looking at sort of 1 goal. I think in part that's because he doesn't have penalties. The likes of Shearer, Phillips, I know Viduka doesn't have him, but he's an absolute freak. But those guys can obviously brace in any game just as getting a jammy penalty added on top.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, James Nelson saying he's got Andy Cole and he's more tempted to hold him. I think Andy Cole's got the potential to score almost pretty much as well as Van Nistelrooy, more or less, for much, much less.
I agree. And Man United play Celtic today, the same time as all the other guys. So annoyingly, we don't know yet, but obviously after this week, we'll know whether they went past Celtic or not.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of have to have to keep your dodgy Man United assets, because then they might suddenly be getting played a whole lot more after this. So the likes of Cole, Chadwick, etc. Suddenly become more appealing as a result.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll have the Celtic game on the live. So Tuesday night deadline this week, and we'll have the Celtic game going live alongside the Man United Celtic game going live alongside the league games. Just on what you just touched on there, Luke, with Champions League matches, Edward Healy, who's who is our current overall rank leader, says what happens when a team wins the league? They definitely rotate a lot more, regardless of their opponent. And also, just to throw in there with the Champions League happening as well, will that affect rotation? Do we think?
Right, so I can only go by what you see in Sims, and it's because it's a percent chance and not now. You can never say for sure, because you see it one sim and then you see the exact same conditions in another sim and they don't rotate. So I still think it's just that chance. You can't say for sure it's going to happen. But if they get through this and then they end up having semi-finals here, I have seen them rotate away to like Arsenal or someone or another top side, which doesn't happen outside of normal rep. And in those conditions, when I've looked at it every time, and it could just be coincidence, is Man United have won the league. They haven't got anything else to play for, and the Champions League, which is a higher rep than the Premier League. I think Premier League's 18, Champions League's 20. And suddenly you'll see, so it could be it could be away to Chelsea, for example. I don't quite know where the games fit. Is it either side of this, or I'm not sure where it is.
Which one's I'm not. So it's definitely going to be that Everton on the 1st of May, because that's the one that can move. So 1st and 8th of May. Yeah, so basically, if it's a double game week in 37, so if they get to semi-final, that Everton game will move, and the second game of the double game week in 37 will be on like the 15th of May or something like that. So there'll be a big gap between Arsenal and the second game week 37.
Okay. So for example, I could look at one sim and they will rotate on the last day of the season, because let's say they get to the final, because they're in the final. So they rotate on that one. They rotate in between the semi-finals, and they rotate before the semi-finals. I look at another one and they might only rotate one of those. Then they might rotate two of those. There's no guarantee as to which one it's going to be. We're going to be largely relying on Team Leaks Dave, hint hint, for a lot of this information. But by that same token, they get knocked out by Celtic, which could easily happen. And then suddenly that probably all goes out the window, because from my experience, again, when they win the league but they don't have any other competitions, you won't see them rotate outside the normal home to a weak side just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
It does make sense, definitely. It's basically, who knows, is the bottom line there, right?
And we'll have a much clearer picture after this week, which is annoying, because you might want to do things with your Man United assets this week, but there we go. Because they're blanking, obviously. Sunderland, Leicester. Don't you want to talk through this one for us, Dave, quickly?
Yeah, 3-0. You can see Sunderland slightly on top in the game, but Sunderland thrashed them. But yeah, you go for it, mate. I feel like you've got access to the clicking. I think that makes it a bit easier to talk it through, to be honest. It's like 3-0. Move on.
What is there to say? Super Phillips shots every game, just gets them off from every angle. It's so much like real life. That's what I remember of Phillips. I don't know if I've got a tainted image of him.
He was a great finisher. He really was.
Yeah, I just seem
Phillips
to
and Arca are the ones.
The ball and just fire it from outside the penalty area, any angle or whatnot. But
yeah, I mean, I watched him at Southampton when he was there, and he was not quite as good at Southampton. I feel like that was a bit of he wasn't bad, but he wasn't at his best. But it feels like everywhere else he went, he did really, really well. So, I mean, basically Sunderland, I feel like Phillips and Arca are both looking like absolutely brilliant picks.
I don't think I've ever seen Arca do this well in a sim.
What's he got? I don't know. I feel like, that is very good, but
I don't think
I'm not shocked. Well. Look at those stats.
I know. Say he's a -2 player, so there is no doubt in my mind that he has hit the top levels of potential ability here, because stats don't usually raise this well. It's similar with Robbie Keane, I think. So a lot of the time you don't see Robbie Keane get that good, but where's he gone? I know he hasn't been doing that well fantasy-wise, but those stats they don't usually get as good as this.
Yeah,
And
his returns have been a little bit disappointing, haven't they?
Yeah. Shit happens, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arco at left back and still did the goods.
Yeah.
I mean, Sunderland don't really do clean sheets. They obviously got one this week, but does it really? I mean, look at this. When you look at their games are just goal fests either way, every single game. It doesn't really matter. So you've always got a chance that Arco or Phillips are going to be in the returns.
That's what you get with Peter Shreves, and they've got a nice set of fixtures to end the season as well.
Exactly. I say that now, probably 0-0 from here to the end of the season, won't it?
Yeah, I think it was me that said it last week. It might be Andy. I'm just going to claim it, but I think Phillips is just. I think I said Phillips, Viduka, Ruvanisroy is my dream 3 from then to the end of the season. I still think exactly the same.
Cool. Tottenham and Arsenal. This out of most of the sims, I didn't get time to run sims on every game, but I did run this one. I put it up in my Discord chat, and to my surprise, out of 20 games, Arsenal won. I think it was 15, and there was like 5 draws, and Spurs didn't get a single win at home, which never happens in this game. So I was like, oh my! I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. Even though Arsenal are a better side in this, they haven't been great at sim, and I was just thinking, that's not going to happen. Tottenham will at least do something, but it turned out to be the case. I mean, the red card didn't help, but it's so late on in the match that I don't think it made all that much difference. Although obviously the goals did come at that point, so it could have been a 0-0, I guess.
Great ending to the game, and Cliff Mardoulier came on to save a penalty with his first ever touch in Premier League football. What a hero!
Fair play, but then conceded 2 straight away.
Yeah.
Oh well. I did notice in this game that the defenders for Spurs did do pretty well still, though.
Yeah.
Vujnovic and Dean Richards.
Casey Keller, how long's his ban for, Luke?
3 matches starting on the 27th, so that's the end of the season, isn't it? From that point, probably?
Yeah, I think that'll probably mean he's out once he's.
So he's got Chelsea, Newcastle, and then he's done.
Mardoulier for a late punt.
Maybe they'll bring in another keeper.
Deadline's gone. They've
of course. Yeah.
They've gone over the edge of the cliff.
5 will have to do them.
Yeah.
Salakovic, he woke up briefly for about 2 games, but when I say he got 1 return or something, an assist and a 7, and then he just went back to sleep.
Yeah, I like Salakovic actually. I feel like he's a good player because he's 8 million and he's so boring basically. He just occasionally gets a goal, but I feel like he's a solid pick still.
Well, he's so heavily owned. I mean, over this period, I don't know what games, I'll just pluck it out of the air, the last 6 games or something, I think if you'd have sold him and gone somewhere else, like, Joe Cole or even Harry Hill for that little period where he was doing well, Scowcroft, you're probably up on that deal by now. I would say.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, I kept him because I was teased into this Newcastle, West Ham, Leicester, Charlton. I thought I don't want to sell him and then have to buy the guy back. I'm basically booking in 2 tracks, or I'll just hope he does something in this period. He kind of didn't, but I can't sell him now with these games, can I?
No, exactly. That's probably 2 goals and an assist in the next 5, something like that, just ticking along. And
the other good point about him is he basically always plays, doesn't he? So when you have these rep games,
he never rests. He never ever rests. He does miss a lot of penalties. But yeah, exactly. He will probably not play this week. Ron Reid says if Salah practiced penalties, he'd be more appealing. He does miss penalties, doesn't he?
Who's that? Salakovic?
Yeah, he's missed a couple, hasn't he?
He doesn't usually though. He's usually really good at them.
But usually Ian Hart is as well, but he's missed 2 as well.
It's very, very true.
Chris Hermitage is saying target Spurs in those last 3 with a poor keeper: West Ham, Leicester, and Charlton. Problem is, I don't know who you want from those teams. Leicester have got Scowcroft, obviously, and Sturridge, but Wilcox, Ewell, maybe. I mean, Joe Cole, but
I'd back Ewell to score against them. Yeah, you're right. The problem is sometimes it doesn't all matter all that much because they don't have that many shots. Because of the rep games, they're playing bad teams. They're attacking. They might face a few shots, but not as many as you would like. And then obviously, even if they're a bad keeper, they can save the odd. I mean, didn't Tota do pretty well in his games when he played? Right, respectively. One of them he did pretty bad, and one he did all right.
For who he is, yeah.
Yeah, compared to his stats, anyway. That's what I mean. And what's his name? Jalal?
Jalal, he did not do well.
He did not, did he? Bad example. Perez did pretty well in this game as well. Coming on, obviously, took a penalty, missed it, but then got 2 assists. It's such a shame we've been robbed of him because I know you guys priced him at 10 million or something, didn't you?
Something like that. I expect him to play every game.
Yeah, ticking off. selling Vieira and then signing this guy basically just threw Arsenal up in the air. I mean, they played him for like the first 23 games of the season and then suddenly realised he's pretty shit. So
yeah,
there we go. And obviously Van Bronckhorst, ever since they brought him into the team, and this is why I've recommended him at the beginning of the season, I'd look down and look at this and go, oh, what, 37 games, like high average rating, quite a few goals, assists. Oh, he's a good option 8. When he gets 8 man of the matches, he can hit 10s. And then he just didn't really play, but he's kind of showing it now, I guess. But just frustrating.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What have we got looking ahead, Luke? What's our fixtures this week? Because before we do club by club, should we just see... Oh, they're all on Wednesday, aren't they?
They're all on the same day, yeah. I was going to bring up the Champions League quickly before we did that, just to show you that Man United are obviously playing Celtic and they're 2-1 ahead and they're travelling to Celtic. So it's not guaranteed, is it?
50-50 in it, that really. Celtic
really
are good.
Because they've got a few handy players. Obviously, they've got Larson, very, very good.
Yeah.
Where's Balde? He can be pretty good. Where's he gone? Yeah, this guy can be pretty good.
Dian Bobo Balde.
They've obviously got Hugo.
Yeah.
Who dominates Van Nistelrooy usually.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing.
So, yeah. Hartson and Sutton. So I'll just send the battering rams at them.
Yeah, they've got Alan Thompson delivering the ammunition as well from the wing.
Yeah.
I still think he was great.
Bobby Petter, I remember him as well. Petrov, he often gets signed.
Oh, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, they've got some decent players. So, anyway.
And then we've got, is it Man United and Everton, I believe, blanking this week?
Man United Everton blank this week because are they still in the cup final? Is that what it is? Sunderland Everton's the cup final, so I think that's part of it.
Yeah, I think as well the fact that obviously Man United can't play tonight, and I think this was the game that was scheduled for tonight.
Yeah, of course. Let me just show you guys the fixtures just to show you. Yeah, so they're all on the same day, about to happen. Interesting though, the next game week is only actually 3 days afterwards.
That usually spells rotation, doesn't it?
I mean, you're going to get a little bit of condition. It depends how much they lose in the game. The ones that sort of play high pressing style and stuff and then play 90 minutes are then at risk for the next one, especially if they've got low stamina. But yeah, also, I mean, if any one of your players gets injured in this game week, the chances of them being fit for this one are close to zero. I mean, you don't often get injuries that only last sort of one. I mean, you get the odd that lasts for a few days, but they'll probably be orange and 90 as a result. So it's kind of a write-off if that happens, unfortunately.
Andy Martin saying Keane's available game week 35. I don't see how he is. Unless you can explain that in the chat, Andy, because they've got a blank and then they've got Middlesbrough. I don't think he's available game week 35. But unless I'm missing something.
27, Saturday the 27th is Chelsea. What's that? That's 35.
He'll miss that as well, won't he? That's 36, Chelsea.
Oh, of course, yeah. So 35 is 20th of April and he's banned from the 24th, so he's right.
Oh, you are right. Silly me.
Yeah, it's because of the blank.
Thanks, Andy. So he'll miss the double in 36 if it's a double, and if not, he'll miss 36 in the first game of the double. This is why Andy should be on here. The guy is a genius. You just... Thanks,
but at
Andy.
least you can talk properly and pronounce. Did you see on James's stream? I was getting shit for Jakob Burns.
Yeah, well, you both deserved it. I watched that stream and I thought, what are you doing? Jakob? I think I didn't watch it live, maybe even. I was watching it back and thinking, Jakob? And you were both like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Jakob.
I was not. I was pretty sure it was Jakob. I said the bloke's from Australia. He's definitely called Jacob. I don't know what you were watching, Dave. I was taking this chat back me up.
I think it was mostly you, and Andy was saying, I think it's Jacob.
I'll give up. I'm going to be kind to you in case you resend me a bad result this week.
I won't do that. I wouldn't do that to you.
Right. Let's go through the team news. I don't think there's a whole lot. I know that's kind of a bit of a spoiler, but I don't think there's a lot, guys. So we should be able to whiz through this pretty quickly. Again, I haven't got my eyes on the chat, but put anything in the chat that you guys want to see, and we'll try and click it.
I think whizzing through is good when there's not a lot of news. If there's not much to share, important question straight off the bat from Edward Healy. Is it Valakari or Valakari, like Planet FPL pronounces it? If there's any people who are Finnish or Scandinavian in the chat, could you fill us in on that one, please? I say Valakari.
That's what I'm going to go with as well. I think it's that, but I've got no evidence to back that up whatsoever.
Yeah, great.
Upson's out for the season, and Lundberg is 90% a few days. That's virtually it from Arsenal.
I just noticed the yellow cards have been reset, haven't they?
Yeah, it went past March. That was a couple of weeks ago now, I think.
Yeah, they were still showing last week, though, I think.
We don't really understand the yellow card things. There's all sorts of hoodoo going on there.
Yeah.
Let's just pretend it never happened.
Andy Martin wants to see if Spurs have played 6 keepers when we get to Spurs. I'm pretty sure they have. I think Neil Sullivan played 1 game, so that's 6.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Smith's asking, is Henri worth a punt this week for Rude? I don't know if he means as a 1-week punt or whether he means as a couple of week punt. I mean, I would say that's a good move because Arsenal got Fulham home, Sunderland away, Bolton home. And if Man United's fixtures get moved to 37, the double, gets moved to 37, then I think you're almost certainly going to end up ahead by having Henri there, I'd say.
I'll talk a little bit more about it when I show you guys the odds, but my only concern would be, will the guy play? That's my thing. It's, again, another one of those home to Fulham this week, prime territory for Henri not playing, and that worries me a lot. Like, if you end up going Van Nistelrooy out to Henri, then he doesn't play, and then you probably want to bring Van Nistelrooy back in, or a lot of people will. That's suddenly 2 moves for something that didn't potentially even feature.
True.
At the same time, he could obviously go off. So I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I think it's an aggressive move, isn't it? It's a move with a high ceiling, but Alamont Daddy clears up that it's Valakari. So thanks, Alan.
Yes. Villa guys, as you can see, are nearly all 100. I think someone's been capturing this guy for the last 2 weeks.
Joe Finley Badder.
Fair play, but I'm afraid he's got a strained neck. It must be all that pressure.
Put the armband on him again. He will as well. You know he will.
Well, it's probably an okay. Well, I'll say okay. The way this game rotates, if VC misses out, you're screwing. But there we go.
That's true. Yeah, it's a risky move.
Right, let's move on. Blackburn. I think Duff. Did he get injured in the game? Yeah, that was the game that they played, wasn't it? No, it wasn't actually. This was another game. He's been injured against Leicester. They were home to Southampton, weren't they? But anyway, he's out for 10 days, so he's a no-go. Weather all 2 guy, they're all 100%. It was just rep as we said. So yeah, all good.
Blackburn, another team, just to say, have got good attacking fixtures. I know people have been jumping on Janssen, but Derby away, Charlton home, Leeds home, next 3, very nice.
Yeah, I still think now you can almost say it's not 2 guys had his rest, but because 2 guy generally plays about 35 a season, you could be fairly confident he'll probably play most of the other ones, and it's still a great option. Him and 2 guy, and Janssen, I still think are good because even in their away games now, they don't play this 5-4-1 very often, especially against the weaker sides. They're more likely to play that 4-2.
Yeah, they're a good option now.
So yeah, kind of like him.
Brendan Davis is bringing 2 guy in. He says, I feel quite a lot of people brought him in last week. I feel for them because I think he's a good pick. 2 guy. He's another like a Slakovic, just ticks along with returns, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, there's no news here. Charlton, I think this is the same as last week. Powell's a few days, 90% now. Fortune was out before anyway, so another 10 days still. And everyone else is, apart from McAllister, is 100%.
99 is good enough, it'll do.
Yeah, McAllister, he's just permanently low condition throughout his entire career.
Yeah, 37 years old, he's nearly done, isn't he?
13 stamina, he's chugging along. But he's so nailed that they play him when he's like 71%, I think they did the other week.
Yeah.
Chelsea are still much the same. Petit, 3 months, so his season was done. Stanic, though, interesting still, 10 days, red flagged. And then Gronkiart is 10 days, 64%, so below that 70, so I'm very surprised to see him play. I'm not sure if that's a new one, but a few days with a dead leg, and suddenly he's gone red, so that's a very dead leg.
Yeah. Adam Sands is asking, does 2 guys sometimes get pens when Hignett doesn't play?
He does, yeah. He does sometimes. It's not always, but he does quite often.
Yeah. Ronnerid's calling out that Wilcox from Charlton's been rubbish. I feel like Wilcox is another 5.5 trips returns for the price tag. Stick with him. The fixtures aren't bad. He'll just drip in a couple of assists before the end of the season, I reckon.
Yeah, again, he's been pretty rubbish, but who under 5.5 has been better? You can't. Stolz's was. He's also done the same, and then Jensen does okay, and then gets subbed on the 31st minute. So. Go on.
Sorry, keep going. No, you keep going.
I was just going to say, apart from McPhail, who went on that God run and kind of probably changed how we perceive players at that price. There's not really been anyone who stood out at all. So
Yeah, I mean, Jason Wilcox, he's the 11th highest scoring midfielder, and he missed the first few games before he joined them, I think, because he wasn't playing at Leeds. In terms of points per match, he's way up there. I think he's a solid option at his price.
yeah, I mean, find the 0.5 and go to Emerson.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it in that context, Emerson's a total bargain. I thought you were going to say find the 0.5 and go to Valakari.
Or him, they've got great games. I really do like their games, to be honest.
Yeah, they've got a decent run.
Yeah. It's not bad, is it? Home to Blackburn, they're fairly open because obviously Derby aren't a good side, so I wouldn't expect Blackburn to play defensively. Home to Southampton, the absolute money maker. Home to Liverpool's not great, but as you've already said, Liverpool away, not as good as they are at home. And then Sunderland and Fulham is...
That's as good a run as anyone's got from now to the end of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. I do like Derby still. I think even
They do tend to rotate. They do tend to rotate a little bit, don't they? More than some of the other small teams.
It seems to be that way, but again, I think it's just because it's that percent chance thing. It's just fallen on Derby more than others. It's not just Derby do it more. It's just worked out that way, if you know what I mean. Okay. I do like Burley as a differential to Valakari just because he's got the penalties. So again, he could hit 3 or 4 in a game. We haven't seen it yet, but it happens. So you never know. There's no note. There's nothing of note here, is there? Just Powell a few days, 90%. He's the only one who usually plays.
A few names coming up in the chat. Rob Lee's getting a lot of love from Billy Hadaway and Ed Tor, and Grant McCann says James Nelson.
Yeah.
Gindler's got a shout out, but I'm not sure about Gindler. I feel like he's not reliable.
Now Hendry's back, I don't think he's played as much.
Yeah.
So.
Can you just pop to Chelsea, Luke, and see when Melchiot's ban is? Tala wants to know.
Oh, it's.
I reckon it'll probably a game after this. Yeah.
24th.
Storm Legacy, who's our differential striker guy, he's calling out Rodzinski in for the double after the blank if fit.
He's been banging. I saw someone mention him on the stream. They feel like he scores every week. I don't know if it's quite that good, but he has been popping up quite a lot.
He's not bad, is he?
Yeah, again, he's done okay, but it's one of those premium striker slots. It just doesn't feel like it's ever worth it.
I really wouldn't bother with Radzinski. One of his games in doubles against Man United. I mean, I know that Bolton beat them, but it's so unlikely that he's going to get much against them.
Yeah, I mean, and even if Man United were to fully rotate their team, it still just rep dominates it, and they won't even attempt to attack them. So, it's not likely. You're basically relying on Bartes, which, to be fair, is a pretty good thing to rely on to ship one goal out of one shot. But
yeah, Jack Brokensh is asking, is Carbone an option for the double game week?
I think so. I mean, I've got him in my team, so I clearly think so. I'm not naive enough to think that he'll play both and play 90 minutes in both. There's a good chance he, because obviously Stanic and Gronke will be back by then. He might only play one of the games in total, or get subbed off early in both. But because he's usually got penalties, can take some set pieces, and is one of the more reliable attackers in terms of a start. I've gone for him just because I wanted a piece of Chelsea, and to me he feels like the most reliable one, so that's why I did it.
I agree with that.
Which team was on? Everton. Yeah, so Stubbs is a new one. 2 weeks with a twisted knee. I think Planet FPL James, when he mentioned his wildcard, said he got Stubbs.
He did, yeah.
So I'm sorry, mate. Did he go off injured in the game? Did everyone even talk about that? Oh, he did go off in the 26th minute. Okay, fair enough. Ketspyre's 92% and Ferguson's 85%. Everyone else is good.
Yeah. Fulham's an interesting one because obviously they've got a blank, right?
Fulham.
Yeah, have they got a blank before the end of the season?
I don't think they have they? Or have they?
I think they've got a blank. I've got down here they've got a blank in game week 35.
They've Chelsea versus Fulham's a blank, and then it gets moved. Yeah.
So basically, you're not going to bother with. They've got Arsenal away and then a blank. So, but when you get to the double, they're interesting. Andy Martin's saying Chris Coleman's his call for the double. Adam France is calling Goma. I mean, I already said last week it was a bit of a bad advice, to be honest. But I said I said you could think about not triple captaining Van Nistelrooy, and he scored 17 for Boa Morte because of their favourable fixture in the double. But if he's playing on the wing, that does make it less appealing.
Nah, for me, the only forward you trust. I mean, he's not done particularly well this season, but at least you pretty much know Marley's going to play when he's available. So in the double, we might play one with Boamorte and then one with Saha, but Male can do very, very well. So I know he's not done it here, but you can see his attributes are pretty good. So yeah, if I was taking a punt on any attacking Fulham asset, it would be Male, without question for me.
I noticed. I think it might be even Edward at the top of the league, but someone right at the top of the league's got Saha.
Oh, it's Konar, he's number one now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean...
He got him on his wild card, and I think he's played like 5 minutes since, but it's worked out for him because some of his players off his bench have come on and done well. But he was a good pick, to be fair, at the time. But
that's
not
a sell from my perspective. He's obviously a good player, but...
Yeah, come on, Fulham, man. You got to play this guy. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Andy Martin still thinks Fulham can stay up. That was his call before.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they can. Oh, maybe they can. I don't think they will.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Everton have got some tough games. They've been pretty shite. We'll see. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, they could.
I'd like to see them stay up.
I'd like to see them stay up as well. Although I would be quite intrigued to see if we do a season 2. Players like Boamorte, Male, Goma, they'd all get transfers. Mel Bronk.
Yeah, quite a lot.
Spice things up a bit.
Mel Bronk will definitely go abroad. He nearly always does. But the other ones maybe might get lucky. Ipswich, as you can see, there's not much change. I think Magilton's 3 months, so he was done. Miller's a few days. He's 43% though, so he won't play. Zach Brannigan, I always click him just for lol 1 week. And everyone else is good. Heridis and Tarico, the whole clan.
Nice.
Leeds. Jacob Burns is 90% few days.
We have to call him Jakob now. We have to. That's just his name.
I'm getting stick for it.
I'll call him Jakob. I'll claim it.
How do you even say it? How do you say this person's name the way Andy does?
Mark Viduka.
Viduka.
Is that right?
He's got a J in there somewhere, but it's like so sly. And then when you notice it, you can't help but notice it every time.
Viduka.
Mark Viduka.
That's it. You just did it.
Brilliant. Well, he's good anyway. And Rio Ferdinand is 1 week with a groin still, 90%. So technically could play, but hopefully won't.
Yeah, Leeds are looking like fairly essential right now, I think.
Yeah. Apart from this guy.
Yeah, you don't want him.
No, but let's look at the game. Away, so Kuhl comes in for this one for me. Home to Leicester, another chance he doesn't play. Away to Blackburn, will play. Home to Southampton, good chance
he won't play at home to Southampton. You just know it.
Probably not. Home to Liverpool, you would have thought he'll play that one. So yeah, if he's got a chance of missing home to Southampton or home to Leicester, then
yeah. And you might be saying he said, "I'm trying so hard not to say Viduka," but I think you just got to embrace it, Andy, because everyone loves it, and it's funny.
I'm interested to know, how does he say video?
Next time we do a stream, Andy, can you say video, please?
Because just use that, but say Viduka, hence Viduka, yeah? I'm sure you don't say video. If you say that, you'd be getting beat up at school, I think.
Yeah. Have you seen that episode of Friends where they try and teach Joey how to speak a foreign language or an accent or something? And it's like,
it vaguely rings a bell.
They break it down into bits like vid-eo, and then viduka. So he's fine with video.
We should probably stop it now. It's probably like a thing that's haunted him for his whole life. I'm sorry, Andy.
I think it's great. Honestly, I love it.
Leicester, Muzzy is it? 30%. Send help.
Yeah, he's not playing.
No. Akinbaye's 1 day. I mean, he occasionally cameoed in and out, didn't he? So there's a chance there, I guess, to upset the Scowcroft and Sturridge balance. But apart from that, everyone is good.
Just to say, so just looking at the thing. Just go back to Leeds. I was getting carried away with the Viduka chat. James Nelson says is asking about saying Hart rotates as well. He does rotate sometimes, but his returns are worth it, I think, probably when he plays.
Yeah. So I'm going to attempt to explain this as best I can. I could be far wrong here, but Kuhl is obviously one of their best players, right? Hart is also one of their best players, so they're always in line to get rotated for these easy home games because they're so good. The problem with them is their backup in this sim, McPhail is obviously had a massive boost to his rep and stuff, is good enough so they feel that they can actually get away with it. For some cases, like Van Nistelrooy, he rarely gets rotated unless it's the whole team because the backup isn't anywhere near his level, if you see what I mean. So therefore, they're happy to do that. The same with Hart. Matteo, this sim, is actually really good. His attributes are good. He's played for Scotland, 9 caps, he's building them up, so his reputation is definitely increasing. So as a result, they feel like they can rest Hart because they've got Matteo. So because they're too good at players, but they've got good competition. So in the likes of Viduka and Keane, quite often they will get rotated for the likes of Bridges and Smith. However, Bridges and Smith in this have barely played, so as a result, their reputation has not gone up. They've spent most of the time injured. You know, all it would have taken, for example, is Viduka to get injured for like 5 weeks. Bridges played for 5 weeks early in the season, and now he would occasionally come in for Viduka when they have an easy home game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And just say on that, Andy Martin's calling out that Viduka's got 23 goals in his last 16 game weeks. That is insane. I mean, that is unbelievable. So he basically got, quick maths, he got, what's that? 6 goals in his first 15 games, and then he's exploded.
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, you can run sims all day, and you won't often get players who score over 30, but occasionally you will. And the only names I ever see do it on a consistent enough basis are Viduka, Shearer, Van Nistelrooy, Henry, and occasionally Phillips will jump in there as well. So those 5, and again, those 5 have basically killed it this sim. It's rare that you'll see 2 or 3 of them hit over 30 in a season, but I think Phillips has also got a chance. Maybe is he like 20?
I think he's a little way off, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Andy's calling it, can Viduka get 35 league goals? I really think he can. I don't think, like, James Nelson, do you think the bubble will burst for him? I just look at those fixtures. I don't think it necessarily will. I think I would be shocked if he didn't get goal a game average in the next 4.
He's not complete. I mean, he has been largely invincible. He has rotated once in this sim early on in the season.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
in Europe somewhere. So there's always a chance, I guess, with him. But if he plays all of them, you'd have to back him to get 35.
Pop in the chat. What would you, if we could do a season next year? What would you price Viduka at? And what would you price him at, Luke?
It's so hard to do without looking at everyone else, but I think just the heavy hitting forwards in general all need to go up, as they're just so reliable. So I guess if you say Van Nistelrooy is 14, then Viduka's got to be like 13, 13.5. I mean, potentially he's better than Van Nistelrooy who he has this sim.
Yeah.
So
he's good. Interesting. There's a lot of, just seeing the numbers pop into the chat now. There's only 6 in there, but 4 people saying 12, 1 12.5, and Tala's saying 13.5. Marcos de Giza 14, Storm Legacy 13, Adam Sands 45 million.
I think it all comes down to how much you price Van Nistelrooy at first. That's the thing. You know, you could argue they should be the same and be 14 million each. But with Van Nistelrooy, he's got that history and the fact that Man United are in the league and everything. Anyway,
it's a bit of a surprise that Viduka got this high. We are getting sidetracked there, but it's just an interesting one. Pirlo's bid wins. He says 17 billion, so that is the highest number that there is there. So points for him. We should keep going. We did Leicester, yeah.
Jamie Redknapp 2 weeks, 20 injury proneness, and Hippier has now began his 3-match ban for his red card. Everyone else is good.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We've already discussed them anyway. Good games.
Yeah.
Man United, they're blanking, right? So I don't need to really worry about them. But
well, let's have a quick look at Dwight York, just for information's sake.
2 weeks still.
Okay.
And Veron is still unavailable.
But available.
For 10 days because he's attending physiotherapy. So I think there's a good chance he plays in the Champions League. And then this is another thing that I think could go for Emerson. Is he's still technically orange and flagged, right? So he could have got injured against Newcastle. He didn't. But there's another chance now that happens. So there's another reason why you kind of got to hold Emerson. Is because suddenly he gets injured and Keane's out. And you got the risk of rep rotation in the games. And Emerson's like the golden ticket.
Yeah. He could have a recurrence of his physiotherapy.
Yeah, and likewise then even Scholes comes into the fold potentially, but there we go. Middlesbrough, Boxic is 96. Ince is 77, so a slight concern as to whether he will play. And that's about it.
Cool.
I think this is the lowest injury week on record, probably.
They seem like the last couple of weeks they've been quieting down, but yeah, how's Shearer getting on?
10 days still with a broken toe.
And you just know they're going to bring him back injured. So
so he'll play the next one, won't he, when he's orange?
Yeah.
Which is what? So he'll miss. Yeah, he'll play against Spurs away, orange flagged, and potentially get injured. If
he gets through that, there's a nice 3 fixtures there at the end for him to finish off
I'll
with.
be rooting that he does get through it, just so we've got some options. It's annoying that Shearer's missed this one because obviously Van Nistelrooy blanks, and the go-to were going to be Henry or Shearer, and I would have probably gone Shearer just because he can be relied on more than Henry to actually play the game most of the time. So it's annoying that he got injured.
Can you have a look at when Dyer's ban starts for Adam France? I think it was Adam France, might not be, but I think it was him that got him off the bench this week. Someone definitely got him off the bench. That's so gutting.
3 matches from the 27th. So, yeah, he can play Bolton, Spurs, and then he misses the last
finished.
3. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, look at him. He's still God tier. Chettle's 4-match ban. Okay, so does he come back for the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so he's back for Middlesbrough at home.
Back for a penalty on the last day of the season.
And that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll just check to be sure, but yeah, we're good. Southampton, Delap's 90%. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Sunderland, everyone is 100%. No injuries, no concerns. They all hate the goalkeeper, that's it.
Who do you think's on pens for Newcastle this week, says Adam France?
Okay. Chettle's not playing this week, is he?
No Chettle, no Shearer. Probably Marcelino or something.
No. I've seen Bellamy take them. I've seen Solano take them.
Bellamy's got a ban incoming as well at some point, I think.
Okay. Robert can take them as well. I'd probably put my money on Robert.
Any chance of Solano?
Yeah, I've seen Solano as well, but I think it's I think Bellamy is probably actually. I'm gonna backtrack. I'm gonna say it's Bellamy if he plays, followed by Robert. But we've seen this CM in it. Who the hell knows? Could be Wayne Quinn.
Yeah. James Nelson saying is Court worth a shout this week. They've got a very good fixture this week, but again, a 1-week punt. Do you really want to be doing that for a 1-week punt? But yeah, he's got as good a chance as anyone of scoring this week.
Definitely. I think it's a nice game, and I do like that move. The problem for me is that Court seems to do really well when he's with Shearer, and there is a 2, and when he's been on his own, it might just be coincidence. He's not done that well. He's done pretty bad. I think Shearer just makes them better as a whole, so that would be my worry. But it's home to Bolton, so yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Adam France is shouting, actually answering his own question, I think, here correctly by saying probably Barton. I think Warren Barton on penalties is a good shout.
I don't think I've seen that before, but I don't question it for a second.
I feel like I have, but...
Okay. Yeah, fullbacks often get them, so... At the end of the day, it's a total lottery. I don't think we can rely on it.
Yeah, bring in Basilas because he can be on pens.
Yeah. In fact, Dabizas is another who does take penalties occasionally. So if he does play, it could be him. Spurs, Chris Perry is 1 week with that dreaded stub toe, 90%, which is a loss if he doesn't play because he is a very good defender on the key attributes. Really good. 20 marking, positioning, everything. Stamina is good. But everyone else is okay. Poyet's 95. I think he was low condition last week? I think he might have been. West Ham still largely ravaged. Defoe
injury plague.
1 day though, so maybe he plays. Canute's 10 days.
Is Di Canio still suspended or is he back now?
I think he's back. Yeah, he is back.
So really, if you're looking at West Ham, you want to go Di Canio because he's on pens. Or Joe Cole.
Yeah, it's a good game. Home to Sunderland with pens. I do like that a lot.
It's a decent run in for them, but
a lot of people are looking for 1 week though, because they'll take Van Nistelrooy out because he's got a blank, get someone in, then bring Van Nistelrooy straight back in, or Henry or whoever. So the 1 week thing, if you're going for it, Di Canio is definitely a name I'd have. He'd probably be in my top 3.
Nice.
Do like that.
Andy Martin's asking about the 6 goalkeepers at Spurs. Is it a Prem record?
Let's have a look.
Well, they definitely played 5. Can you look at Sullivan, see if he played this season? Definitely they've used the other 5.
Well, we know, Tota... Because Kelly played or not?
Yeah, he came on as... in the Cup he came on as a sub. They've ruined it.
So Tota, Jalal, Keller, Marauder,
Maduda,
that's
yeah.
4, and then the keeper they sold,
Sullivan.
So where did that even happen?
That was early on. Have a look at his career history, and
You can't tell when he played though, can you?
nah, but it will say if you played a league game.
It will when it. We're gonna find it though.
You've committed to this method.
We're gonna find it. There we go.
There he is. And he's only 5.
So I think that's it. Is there any injury news you can even think of that's significant? Shearer's not back. I think that's basically it, isn't it? I can't think of any.
Yeah, there's nothing really significant. Unless you're a TT Camera owner, he's nearly back.
If you are, I feel sorry for you.
Yeah, you've been holding on all through his injury, and now he's nearly there. No, there's not much to report injury-wise, is there? Just looking forward, I guess. I know that you probably want to keep your cards a bit close to your chest now that you're 4th in the world and your rivals are watching. But so I won't ask you to say what you're doing this week. But if there's any other questions in the chat, I can try and answer them, or Luke will try and mislead you with an incorrect answer.
I wouldn't do that. I'm going to talk them through the odds. I think I sent it to you on the phone, didn't I? So I'm going to bring.
You did,
up.
yeah.
Right. So I don't think you can see this right now, but I'm going to talk through it.
Yeah, I got it up on my phone because you sent it to me.
Hang on, I've completely messed this up. There we go. Right. Again, as ever, guys, this is a guide only. Does not mean it's going to happen. You have to look at the individual games in it as well, but it serves me fairly well most of the time. So this is with all current injuries and stuff. Obviously, it wasn't hard to do this week because there was basically no change. So I'll talk through the games first of all. Arsenal at home to Fulham. As you can see here, 16 wins, 3 draws, 1 win. Only once did Arsenal lose, and there was 12 clean sheets, so over 50%. They also scored 2.4 goals, which is the highest of all the teams this week that I ran, unsurprisingly. However, throughout those sims, a lot of the time, the likes of Henry wouldn't play. So this was even without Henry in a lot of these games. So yeah, it comes with that. It's a high risk, high reward for me. If you're going to Henry and he starts, you could do really, really well. The thing I did notice, however, is that his partner, whoever he played with, and if it was Jeffers in particular, would normally score the goals, and Henry wouldn't really do them. So I may go for one of Canu or Jeffers, because at the end of the day, if I bring him in,
that's a bold move,
and it's a rep game, I could then have him as captain, and then if he doesn't play, what have I lost really? Because next week I'll probably be taking that person out for Van Nistelrooy again anyway, and I'll just have my person off a bench. So I've got an okay bench this week, so I'm considering that. That's
a bold move.
Maybe, and it's just to be different.
Yeah, that is different.
That is different.
I guess the thing is do you want? Like James is asking what we do for strikers. What would I do? I think the thing is you've got to think now. You've got to be planning transfers now. I know that the game will throw things up, but I feel like you've got to know whether you're going for a 1 week punt or what's your team shape, because people like Di Canio, or even like, without wanting to spoil what you're about to say too much, like Zola or someone like those sorts of players could be really good cheap enablers if you want to bring in Veron in midfield or something like that. But I feel like you need to know where you're going with it. So I mean, it's the stage of the season where you might want to start playing differential. So that could be a cool differential move, to go for someone cheap up front and bringing in a massive, big hitting midfielder.
Yeah, well, for me, like I say, it's only ever really a 1 week thing. I'm either going straight to Henry and then maybe keeping him, or I'm doing it for 1 week, then back to Van Nistelrooy. And if I'm doing that, Arsenal have got the highest goals. So then I suddenly go, well, if I go different to Henry like everyone else does, and then Henry and his partner plays, like I say, most of the time the partner outscores Henry for me, at least for goals. So
I'm amazed. I don't want to put you off because it could work out really well, but I'm amazed that you're thinking of picking. That's such a lottery between those three.
Yeah, that's the problem. Canu's been playing. Bergkamp was playing, done not so much recently. Jeffers, I think, came off the bench last week and did well. He scored or assisted or something.
I'd go Jeffers. I feel like when he plays, he scores.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. And if he doesn't play, he's definitely the one. He's the goal poacher.
Could get a 1-pointer though. That's the problem.
You could get a 1-pointer. Don't put me
anyway, should we keep going through your goals chart?
Right, Charlton and Leeds actually surprised me quite a lot here. See, the game's by no means easy for Leeds. Leeds are away though, so we shouldn't be that surprised. They just edged it for clean sheets, but again, I mean, Hart's not looking likely to get one here. They may not even win the game, but still it was around a 1-1, 2-2, so you'd still expect maybe 2 goals from Leeds, which easily, I mean, Viduka was heavily involved in my sims there, so Viduka, if you look at the individual games, there's 2 3s, 4s, 2s, so there's no doubt that he could get a brace again in this game, just because it wasn't overall that great. He still did pretty well himself.
Yeah.
Chelsea and Spurs, very interesting one. Chelsea, largely dominated, you can see, really high for the average goals, not far away from Arsenal. Clean sheets weren't all that great, but they won the majority of the time. So for me, another Chelsea punt, like you're saying, is a viable option. I may consider captaining Carbone this week instead. That's another thing I'm thinking about.
That is so bold.
I just like these. I like having these home games, and I back my sim data most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't work. So I went Boxic recently, he got 1 goal when Van Nistelrooy outscored him, but there's been times when it's done okay. So
again, I feel like Carbone is another one. He's susceptible to the pre-60 minute sub.
Yeah,
but
I know.
Let's talk captaincies in a minute, because there's some interest. It's an interesting week for captaincy, I think.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like it's one you can take a bit of a punt, but
yeah.
Derby and Blackburn, I would not like to call this game. Just look at this: 6 wins, 7 wins, 7 draws, 2-3 clean sheets, and then about almost equal on the goals. So literally that can go any way whatsoever. I've got no idea who's going to win that one. Yeah, I mean, if you've got a Blackburn or a Derby asset, play them. An attacking asset, then play them. That's basically my advice there.
Yeah.
Leicester and Liverpool, as you can see, Liverpool one of the higher ones again for clean sheets. It's only 50% though. Quite a lot of draws, 0-0s, 1-1s. This is like Liverpool's boring style, but within there was a couple of 3s and 4s. So obviously, if you've got Owen, you're going to be playing him. But for me, it's probably going to be a low-scoring Liverpool win. That's what it looks like anyway.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough and Villa, again, not many clean sheets here, and I would have had Middlesbrough probably pretty heavy favourites to win it, but it wasn't like that in most of the time. Could just been bad luck. So Middlesbrough just slight favourites.
Nice.
Newcastle Bolton, as you can see, this was obviously without Shearer, not as good as I would have thought, but 8 clean sheets, 11 wins, that's pretty good for CM. It's fairly consistent, so you're obviously going to play your Newcastle assets there.
Yeah.
This was another interesting one, like I said about the Ipswich. They don't really score that many goals, but as it was against Southampton, as 2.25 was actually more than Chelsea and only just behind Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone's going to buy any Ipswich attacking assets, because why would you? But Holland, I think, could do well. But also, just playing the likes of Tarico, I mean, when they scored these goals, a lot of the time the assists and goals came from their defence. So I'd be tempted to play the likes of Horidus and Tarico and hope they get a goal or an assist, because I feel like they could.
I think Matt Holland's a good pick at the price. I felt all season long. I think he's, again, another one who ticks over. He's quite dull, but just gets the returns. So I wouldn't, if you've got a slot in your midfield that needs filling, I wouldn't hesitate to put him out on, and even to captain him this week. I mean, that sounds pretty crazy, but looking at that, I prefer him to Carbone, to be honest.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, he got more goals, so I wouldn't argue, as in the team did, so I wouldn't argue with that. I did notice James Beattie popped up a lot in this game as well, but I've been saying that for a while, and he's still not done anything, so ignore me.
He's up against Super Herman in this version, remember?
Yeah, that's true. And then West Ham Sunderland, as you can see, this was pretty close. No real clean sheets. Sunderland slightly did better, only slightly, but it's looking to me it's going to be a 2-2, a 2-1 either way. And of course, Phillips, Arca, it's been indicative of Sunderland's games. You know, there'll probably be goals in it, and it'll probably be a 2-1 or something like that. But you could easily get. I mean, I saw Phillips braces. Of course, I did the other things, but just owning him might be enough, though. I don't think about captaining.
It's interesting. Adam Sands is calling captain Finidi George for the win. I mean, that's a nice differential. Why not? Just looking through this, I think, again, you might want to keep your cards close to chest, which is totally fine if you do. Totally understand that. But looking through, I'm looking like Kevin Phillips, maybe one of the Newcastle guys like Kieran Dyer, if you've got him. Maybe a Liverpool defender like Sami Hyypiä, who could be on penalties potentially. And then maybe like a Zola.
This one, isn't he?
Is he banned this week?
Yeah, he's banned this week. But Honcho.
Is he definitely banned, Hyypiä?
Yeah, he's banned this week.
We just looked at that. I forgot. Short memory. And then to me, the standout two would be Viduka and Henry, but just because Henry's got a great fixture, and if he rests, he'll almost certainly play 0 rather than 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And Viduka's just on such good form. I feel like he's a quality option.
Yeah, without a doubt, just having the likes of Viduka, Phillips, and in your team is good. You throw the armband on, they'll probably do good as well. But considering how when they're at home, their numbers are usually in the twos, or often in the. I mean, this week Leeds were in the threes for goals. There is an opportunity to go different, and Matt Holland, Carbone, Jeffers, Henry, people like that, I think could do all right. And I'm not just trying to throw people off. People who know me, I would probably end up doing one of these things.
No, I think Henry's a really good option now because he's not very popular, but he's 13 million for a reason. I still don't think we've gotten very far wrong there. I think he is absolutely explosive at times. He's the sort of player who can pick up a hat trick. Not many players can do that. So, yeah, he might rest, but I think it's worth the transfer in for 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks if they've got a double in 36. But
yeah, I agree. He's good.
Yeah.
So I think that's it.
Yeah, I was just going to say quickly, Rory Scott has said, is there going to be a next season? And that's actually the first person who's asked us if there's going to be a second season. So basically, we're not too much to say now on it now, except from like we've been talking about as a team, and basically we're hopeful that we can put something together. We'd like to put something together, but we just want to make sure we do the right thing, get it all right. So what we're going to do this week at some point, probably later in the week, is we're going to put out a little Google form just with 4 or 5 questions on it, trying to gather what the community thinks, what do people want. Like definitely, if we do a second season, it will look really different to this season. So, we know that James Planet FPL, I think he said on the stream this week, he's given nearly 100 hours of his time, which is incredible. So, but we know that's not going to happen next season. He can't do that. He's already doing so much FPL content. So it will look different, but we're really hopeful we can put something together that's good. But at the same time, we only want to do it if people want it, if people think it's good. So we're going to come at some point this week, look out for it. We'll obviously publicise it, but we want to get as much feedback as possible. And if you can answer that, that'd be great. But also if you could share it and get it far and wide, because it's great. We love all of you guys who are hardcore players, but equally the people who are a bit more casual, it's good to get their opinions too. So if you're happy to share that when it comes out, that would be really, really helpful. But we are hopeful that second season, it probably won't be really soon is the other thing to say. I think it's looking very likely that we'll take a break sort of over the summer. But watch this space. But it's in the pipeline and you should know more inside sort of, I don't know, a week?
A few weeks, yeah. I think the other thing to say that we've been talking about is not necessarily running it in just a downtime. So there is a chance, depending on what people want, that we could look at running it during the normal FPL season. But again, it's just whether people want to do that or what. We're not there yet, but it's just to think of it like that. I mean, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be the off season for us to do it.
Yeah, I think the big questions are basically, would we run it like once? We could do something like do a game week a week through the season, but then in international breaks and maybe in pre-season do like many more, so make it much more intense in the gaps between FPL, but keep it going once a week, or we could just run it in the gaps. Another question is just how we do the matches, because basically the way, so for me personally, I can't be too involved next time around because I've just got so much other stuff on, and I know that doing the match commentaries on Twitter takes ages, and which is fine, and I've been happy to do it, but we're not sure we can manage to do that. So we're saying maybe we do some to get the results out. Maybe we stream and put the results out that way, and then just put together some match reports. But try and make the match days in a way that really engages. But again, that would be something we'll try and gather. But if anyone's got any ideas or suggestions of how we could make it work well, we just want to know what really makes it work for you. What would you want to see? What would make it not work? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, come up with ideas by all means. So just imagine we haven't got James's streams because it's looking that way, but you still want to play. Fair enough. But how are we going to run this, basically? How's it going to work for you guys? Is it going to be entertaining watching us stream the games live, playing Champ Man? Is it going to be you just want to run off of Twitter comms? But again, that's very intensive for us. So maybe we do like a condensed version. Send ideas our way, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll put it out hopefully later in the week. But that's the news. So we're hopeful, but we want to make sure it's right. That's the bottom line.
That's it.
A tour saying teletext format would be good. Yeah, that's the sort of thing that we'd be thinking about. Probably is something like that. But for afterwards, that is so that you can see who scored and done what. But we maybe put the results in a video. Anyway, it's all to be sorted out. We'll make it clear on the Google form what the options are, and we'll have a think about it.
I'm just doing Uriah Renee watch while you're talking, just in case.
Thanks for all the kind comments, by the way. People saying nice stuff in the chat. That's nice. Appreciate that you guys have appreciated it. It's been good to do it, and yeah, it's been really, really good. So it's been a pleasure. But let's see what happens.
No, I've got no Uriah Renee this weekend.
No Uriah Renee to come. Cool. Right. Should we sign off there?
Let's do it. That's it. Yeah, sorry there wasn't much news, guys, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, and hopefully after the next one we'll know big stuff about Man United, Champions League, all that stuff, so it should be a good next one.
And just to say before you do sign off, Luke, just another quick thing we should announce. Tuesday this week, and we've got 9 p.m. kickoff for Tuesday, 7:30 deadline, then the following Saturday at 3 p.m, and then like a week yesterday will be 3 p.m, and then we'll have 3 game weeks in the final week of the season, which will be Monday night, Wednesday night, and then a Saturday afternoon to finish off. So that's what's coming up.
Cool. I've just noticed the English players Premier League Division selects. They've picked their team already. They've got Pedersen on the left wing.
Solid.
Picking the team here, I think.
Skillmeister. Look at that midfield. Other than Kieran Dyer, you've got Pedersen, Poyet, and Skocroft. I mean, that team in general, in fact, pretty much everyone there is 6 foot plus, apart from Kieran Dyer. That is a beast team.
Yeah. I mean, Henry over Van Nistelrooy, really? Okay.
Van Nistelrooy didn't make it. Wow.
No, not good enough. Phillips, he's on the bench.
So confirmed, Viduka 13.5, Henry 13, Van Nistelrooy 11, according to the players. How did Sereni get goalkeeper of the season?
Oh, he's got the highest average rating.
Really?
Yeah, which is 7.23.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of this is going to be on average rating because Gomer's done well on that, and yeah.
Wow, where's Van Nistelrooy? Anyway.
Anyway.
Should we sign off for the night?
Yeah, see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Nice one. Cheers, guys.